So I went through the content. Am I audible to everybody or only to you all? To everybody. Okay.
No,
It's streaming live on YouTube. Okay, great. Now I just wanted to check what are you all looking at from today's session. Maybe I wanted to tweak what I had originally planned to speak. So what I have understood is you'll want to understand more about the challenges of autism and the community and the families and how everyone can be more inclusive. Am I right?
yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So then I wouldn't go deep into the science and the medical condition related to it because that will become very boring and it won't really give us enough time and value for the goals of today's meeting. Is that okay? I will be talking about the medical condition related to which behavior and why they do things, but we will not go deep into it. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Okay. Great. So just we're gonna take another 3-4 minutes,
Hello.
right? So
Yes, ma'am. We are here. So we have our participants already on the call. We will
okay.
be starting shortly. We just for some of them to join in.
Sure. Sure.
To
So
her
I'll
yes,
just give me also 2 minutes then. Just call
yeah,
out to
sure,
me and
ma'am. Sure.
write here. Bye.
Would you be sharing a PowerPoint presentation, ma'am?
Uh, I don't think I want to because I think this should be more of a conversation rather than just me talking. If it's more interactive, more of a conversation, more of real life experiences that you all can share, it will have a better fruitful result.
Sure, ma'am. So we can start in a few minutes.
Sure, sure.
I'll just give the cue. Until then, all the participants, first of all, welcome everyone. We haven't officially started, so just waiting for everyone to join. But until then, we hope all of you have filled in the pre-webinar form, which was sent along with the email. If you've not filled the form, you have time to do it now. Filling the pre and post-webinar form would be essential for you to receive your certificate. So ensure you're doing so. And the post-webinar form will be sent only in the Zoom chat box. It won't be sent as a separate email. So just note of the same.
So I have a suggestion. We are going to be having a quiz as a part of today's talk. And
Yes, ma'am.
Kenisha, if you could share the link of our Instagram page, I would request you all to please start following us for the simple reason a lot of the answers of the quiz are on our Instagram page, and you will find them in our highlights and stories between yesterday and today. I've actually made it very easy for you all. So it would be great fun, and we're going to have lovely giveaways. So please try doing that. Kanisha, share it and
Shared already on the chat.
And of course, if you'll follow us on Instagram and support our cause, it's a great way to help the larger community. Um, yeah.
Yes, to all the participants, during when we opened the registration, we had mentioned there would be a surprise, and this is the surprise basically. there would be a quiz as part of the webinar, and few of the winners would be getting some exciting gifts, all thanks to our external partner here, Fragile X Society. So, yes. So until we start, I guess all of you can check out the Instagram page and look through all the possible clues to the answer. Okay, everyone. So yes, apologies for the technical error. So yes, it's 8:15. I think we can start now. I would give the floor to Himani and Sanjana, our National Officers for Human Rights and Peace, to give an introduction to the campaign and the webinar itself. And then, of course, a welcome to our esteemed guests for the day. So, Himani, Sanjana, please take over.
Hello everyone. So I'm Mani, the National Officer on Human Rights and Peace for this term, along with Sanjana. So today we are together for a very special webinar, which is with Fragile X India, Fragile X Society India. So the webinar is a part of a campaign, which is Amplify. The campaign consisted of an SWG that started in December 2023 and will conclude in April 2024. This campaign, this SWG worked very meticulously for planning each that we are going to do throughout the month of April. A lot of things will be coming on from our end in the month of April. The first foremost being webinar, which we are a part of. We'll be launching a Streetly activity. We'll be doing podcasts and we'll have a few Instagram reels also. So make sure that you go through it, you be a part of it, and do our little part in advocating for the people with autism and on the spectrum disorder to help them. Over to you, Ria.
Thank you so much, Himani. So, given the our campaign and the webinar for today. And this webinar is in collaboration with our external partner, Fragile X Society India. And we have Shalini ma'am here from the same organization. So about Shalini ma'am, she has founded the Fragile X Society of India in 2003. And till date, the organization has helped over 10,000 families affected with the condition. She works very hard in spreading awareness on Fragile X and related conditions. She is the co-author of Guidelines for Fragile X issued by the Indian Association of Pediatrics. She's also an amazing TEDx speaker and has also spoken at various conferences on the subject. So she is the right person to be letting us know more about autism awareness and autism spectrum disorders in general. And if you have checked out Instagram page of Fragile X Society, you will see how much of content the organization has already promoted, has made efforts to in order to create awareness. So ma'am, we are really happy to be collaborating with you today. And with this, I would like to give out the speech to you. It's all yours. And to all the participants, make use of this wonderful opportunity. It's amazing that we're getting to interact with ma'am and the quiz and every other opportunity. We are really glad that you're part of, all of you have registered, and we hope it's a good experience for all of us. So yes, ma'am, the stage is all yours.
Thank you so much, and I think it's truly a pleasure to be here. I guess over the last 5 years, we've had 4 to 5 interactions with MSAI, and each year it just becomes even more intense. And it's like a beautiful connection because there's so many more diverse people getting to know about autism spectrum disorders, and Fragile X, of course, which is very, very, very close to my heart. So I thank you for choosing us to be a part of your campaign. And I think it's an amazing campaign. We are lucky that we've been, your campaign ends in April and we've been a part of it. So let's keep today's session very interactive because it's going to be very boring if I just keep talking and giving you gyan. It's good to get your inputs. I request whoever wishes to, y'all may switch on your cameras. I'm not judging you. Nobody's going to judge you. It's okay. Whatever is your background. I mean, it's just more of a conversation than just me giving lectures. So it's a request. And yes, please do follow us at Fragile X India. We try to make a huge difference. Sometimes you really don't know who, what, when, where can get helped. And if you just share a post, if you put a story, it's just gonna help the society. So I'll first ask that is my little dog Fluff, who was not supposed to be in the room, but has 4 more issues. 1 minute. Now, do you want to go out or in? There. 1 minute, 1 minute. Yeah, now you stay out. Then you're not going to come in the room. Okay, Babu? Thank you. Extremely sorry for that. I was just thinking of picking her up and making her meet her. And now she's got 4 more to run who's at the door. So tell me, what do you all think about autism and about the whole campaign, about inclusion? There's something called Kindness Day, I believe, which came mid of the year last year. And some organization called me to get an interview of me as to how inclusion is an act of kindness. And I tried my best to be very civilized, but I had to tell them that I'm sorry, I cannot be doing this interview and I don't want to be part of it because inclusion is not kindness. It's each human being's right. Do you agree with me? I mean, is it kindness? Are you being kind to someone by including them, or is it their right? I mean, why would someone have to face any kind of disclusion just because they're different? It was a very unfair thing, and I tried my best to very humbly tell them, I'm sorry, I cannot do this because I don't think inclusion is an act of kindness. It is a right that every human being has. Thank you for agreeing with me. So, let me tell you a little about autism and autism spectrum disorder. So, it is actually a spectrum disorder. It varies from mild, moderate to severe. It has so many other conditions associated with autism and autistic traits. Uh, One of them that is closest to my heart is Fragile X. Fragile X is, in fact, the only known single gene cause of autism. And we very strongly promote autism, the autism community to be tested for Fragile X, because if it is a genetic condition that is leading to autism, then more children in the family need to be tested. There could be more people affected, and the family needs to know about it. There are a lot of taboos. We're living in India where people still believe the sex of the child is determined by the mother. Do you believe me? I mean, this actually does happen. I mean, I face it nearly thrice a week where the husband's trying to convince me the sex of the child is determined by the mother. And I'm like, okay, we need to read to biology class, or even if you Google it, you have the right answer there. So, and where female feticide is still prevalent in India. So, where people believe that going and doing a puja or a ritual is probably more important than doing therapy, where you get to hear things like, तुमने गाय को रोटी नहीं खिलाई when you were expecting this baby, and that's why the child has autism. Many families, the friends disassociate with them if their child has autism. Yes, there are families where they're not allowed to play with a child who has autism. People think it's contagious. People think that these children should not. There are places in India where they believe that these children should not be allowed in common public parks because it um, it's a bad influence on other children. So yes, it is a huge taboo. It is a lot to do with inacceptance and the inability to include and give each human the right they deserve. This is where it all stems from. And of course, you all have seen so many movies on autism. You've seen the teleserial Good Doctor. Has everyone here seen The Good Doctor, where the cute Dr. Sean Murphy is shown to have autism? And so even if you just pick up a few of the things they show you in Good Doctor, that is real autism, where he does not like things out of order. He likes his tissue roll to be placed in a particular way. He wants things in his kitchen cabinet to be kept the way it is kept. He does not like loud sounds. He's not comfortable with all kinds of foods and textures. He's not okay with all kinds of touch. But then, of course, when he wants to, he gets close to his girlfriend. He is sometimes some things can really give him a meltdown. These are real life terms. Okay, a meltdown, sensory processing disorders, getting overwhelmed. These are real life terms that families with autism and Fragile X go through every single day. So now let me ask you, how many senses do we have? We've studied it in school. I can see five. Everyone's saying five. Does everyone agree we have five senses? Okay, so everyone's wrong. Sorry, I know. School didn't teach us this. But we have seven senses. And the other two senses are the vestibular sense and your proprioceptive sense. Now, these senses help you keep your balance when you walk or when you are doing something. and also tells you where your place is, where you are in space around you. Okay. And these senses are also very, very, very important. I learned about them only after I started the work I'm doing. Otherwise, even I didn't know. So, what is a sensory processing disorder and why am I talking about it? I will come to that very soon. So, what do our senses do? What do our five senses do? Can anyone volunteer tell me what's the role of our five senses? What does it do?
Like they make
Come
us
on.
aware of our surroundings. They make us feel like who we are, what are we trying to perceive around the world, and that's how we communicate with the world itself, through visual perception, through sound, through the space we are in. We get the understanding of the world.
Okay, that's you summed it up very, very, very well. So it's so if I say that the five senses give information to your brain, and then your brain tells you how to react. You'd agree with me, right? Because there is a small box in your brain, and all these five senses, seven senses, collect information from all of them, put it in the box, and then the box will say, okay, now this is how you behave. For example, if someone stamps your toe, your brain is going to quickly say, scream, ouch, or kick your friend, or put ice on it. That's your immediate reaction. If someone tickles you, you're going to laugh. That's the instruction your brain is giving you. A sensory processing disorder, that part of the brain is not functioning to its optimum level. It's not giving the right messages in and out. So, a child with autism or Fragile X, if you probably just put on light music, they might find it to be blaring music. Okay. That is why many times in reality or on TV, you will see children with autism having huge headphones. Why are they wearing those headphones? To cut out the surrounding. I'm just trying to give you an understanding of why they behave the way they behave, because then it's going to be a lot more easier for you all to go out and have an impact and make the changes that we want to see in society. Right? Does this make sense? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So today, similarly, there are so many children on the spectrum who cannot wear t-shirts with tags. All the tags will be cut out because a simple tag on the skin is not even bothering you, but the child may feel it to be like a thorn that's poking him, and he'll have to get it cut because otherwise he's going to keep fidgeting with it, etc. That's similar to the physical space. Sometimes you might not realize the odor from a friend or the food aroma, but a child on the spectrum is going to sense it and get a very strong smell from it. Now, that makes it very difficult for the child to sustain himself from being there, because the brain is giving him a signal that this is a very strong smell. So you need to like run away from here. You need to do something. You need to cover your nose or stuff like that. Like many children with autism, they'll enter a mall. You'll have these fluorescent lights and they lie down on the floor. And then people will gather around them saying that, oh, he's having a tantrum. He's having a meltdown. He's so badly behaved, etc., etc., etc. Now, that is where there are many malls now who actually have silent hours because to accommodate individuals with autism. In fact, airlines have a special code. It's called the DNP code, I think. When you tell the airline that you want to use the code, the frisking is done very differently in a non-invasive manner because they want to accommodate the individual with autism. These are steps that are taken by society and by so many organizations and private groups that really help the child with autism. I know a child with autism, when his family has to travel, they have to buy 3 seats for him. He's very thin, not because he's fat. They buy 3 seats for him because he does not like his own parents also sitting close to him. He'll actually say that if you come too close to me, I will hit you, because that's his defense mechanism. Okay, so he'll have to buy 2 seats, and he cannot he cannot help himself beyond that. So these are a few of the things. Now, I want some volunteers to tell me about some typical behaviors y'all have seen in children with autism, which y'all don't understand or would like to understand better. That will help me help you.
I've often seen them like, canceling their plans at the last moment. Like even if they have promised something, like, okay, this time I'll really try to come, but unfortunately, every single at last moment, they always end up canceling the plans, and it seems more often uh, happening with them compared to other friends of mine. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. So, do you think it could be anxiety that's making your friend cancel the plan? Or is it that you're trying a new place? Like, would it be okay um, for the child, for that individual to, if you were going to the same joint as you went last time and then he's okay to come versus trying a new place? Have you experienced that?
It's definitely more in new places.
Exactly. So you got the point. So now, uh, the anxiety connected to a new place. Today, if you've been to one restaurant 4 times, he's got accommodated to the kind of people, the kind of ambience, the kind of food, the kind of aroma. He's done that with a lot of difficulty. Okay. I mean, they actually use a lot of their skills and senses and challenge themselves to do it. Now, the minute you've thought of another place, of course, he wants to come because y'all are friends. And the last minute, he's going to cancel because fear takes over him. He doesn't know what to expect. He doesn't know what kind of food will be there, what kind of service will be there. Will it be too noisy? What about the lights, etc., etc.? So, what you as a friend can do, okay, is A, go and check out the place first. Then come back and tell him, hey, I went to that place, and you know what? The food is similar to this. Prepare them in advance. Give them as much information as you can in advance. The lights were okay. You can even talk to the restaurant. There are so many restaurants which will lower the music if you tell them you are with someone with autism. They accommodate you. So if you make a two-way preparation, where on one hand you tell the restaurant, of course, it's going to be a huge effort from your end, but the fact that you brought it up, you definitely care about your friend. Okay. So you tell the restaurant to make the changes they can. You tell your friend about the things as much as he can. Only if you think it's working out, think of that place or just shift to another place. Think and make a very gradual process. Suppose your friend likes eating Indian food. The next time, again, try a new restaurant with Indian food. So there's at least one common thing for that individual to have that sense of security. Okay. The third time, again, probably look at an Indian food place, and so on. You can slowly help that individual transition into newer places. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Yeah.
the tips do help.
Yeah, so you can do that because they need one sense of stability or security or commonness, you can call it, for them to hold on to latch on to, for them to feel that, acha, ye to hai udhar, like, okay, I have my comfort food over there. So he can even then ignore the ambience. Because that's why in restaurants, so many times you will see children with their headphones and the families take their headphones. Of course, there are so many people who are always judging them and saying, what a badly brought up child. At the dinner table, he's got his headphones, he's busy with the iPad, etc., etc. But they don't realize that the family's done this so that the child can have an outing without getting overwhelmed. He has been social because he has come out. And it's a small move, but a large move from his end to be able to come out in an open setting and, okay, have his headphones, have his iPad, because they always like to at least latch on to one thing that is familiar. So I think there was a question in the question box. If any of the moderators could please
Yes.
read it out.
There is a question about they've asked to know more about the term stimming, the phenomenon of stimming.
Okay. Anything else?
Apart from that, I don't see any questions now.
So stimming again is something, it's something very similar to the sense of familiarity. For them, stimming is a way to calm themselves down. It's a way for them to regulate themselves. They all need regulation. We all need self-regulation. We've learned how to do it, but we can do it in challenging ways. Like, for example, you might have a challenging day and say, oh God, I just need my cup of coffee, or I just need my couch and my television. We all have that one thing that is a sense of comfort. Am I right? Now, for children with autism, they have a challenging day because they would have gone from one therapy to another to another. So, and some of them are non expressive, non verbal, they are not being able to speak, share, express. So, stimming is their way of self soothing themselves. It's self regulating, calming, and self soothing. Now, I'm not saying stimming is a very um, great way of doing it, but till the child learns a better way of self regulation, which will come through therapy. Most of them would be attending occupational therapy, learning better ways of calming themselves down and self regulation. You cannot really stop the stimming and just say, don't do this, because then it's going to frustrate the child. They need a way to regulate themselves. How we all have our ways of regulating ourselves. So, this is their self regulatory mechanism. I think there are more questions. So, if someone could read them out for me.
Yes, ma'am, I'll do that. So we have one question uh, about staring into space and eye contact issues.
Eye contact, of course, it's so difficult. I mean, anxiety, unfamiliar, it's for them, it's very difficult to again make contact with so many unfamiliar faces. Now, if I'm not looking at you, I'm okay. I can listen to you and I can pay attention. But if I'm looking at you and today you're wearing red earrings, tomorrow you're wearing green earrings, day after your hair is purple, I mean, that's too much of an overstimuli. It overstimulates them and they cannot regulate themselves, and that is why they prefer not making eye contact. It's very, very challenging for them to make eye contact because, again, like I told you, their brain is not processing things the way your brain is. Your brain is processing a bird as a bird, so you just see it and ignore it, but their brain cannot process something, especially human beings. I mean, human beings are nothing same, right? Even tomorrow, if I meet you, I'll be dressed differently, my hair will look different. Or so that sense of unfamiliarity, anxiety is what makes them not want to make eye contact. So I think if if the person does not make eye contact, it's okay. You can still accept it. It's not a big deal. It's really not a big deal. I mean, there are times when my daughter's speaking to me, and I think I focus better if I'm doodling. Do any of y'all realize that? Sometimes you can focus better on something if you're just doodling rather than really looking at that person or a serial. Has anyone ever experienced that, or am I the only one here? Yeah. So it is something like, someone wants to, someone likes to fidget, someone likes to fidget with something. Again, these are your coping mechanisms. So similarly, eye contact is not a big deal. I mean, if the person is around you, it's good.
We have like a few more questions in the chat box.
Sure.
Yes. So Juhi Pujara has asked if she's asked, hello, ma'am. I'm not sure if this is included under autism, but I have heard about non-verbal autism. So she wants to know about non-verbal autism, if it's a phenomenon.
Yeah, it is. It is. Definitely. It has a lot to do with the brain. So autism does impact the brain and the child's development. That's why you see many children with autism who are delayed. They don't go to typical schools. They might need to go to a special school with a special environment. Similarly, there are many children with autism who don't speak. It is physiological and psychological. So it's connected.
Okay, ma'am. Juhi, I hope that answers your question. Next, we have Shivam who has asked, my nephew does not enjoy guests. How can we make visiting new people more comfortable for him?
Does he have autism or anything like that? Yeah.
Shivam, you can answer. Yeah.
So, Shivam, first of all, if your nephew has autism, has he been tested for Fragile X? He has, and it's negative. Yeah, perfect. I'm so happy that he has been tested. I mean, yay, we are making a difference. I mean, like people when they know about Fragile X, we are like, okay, we've made the dent. So it's very simple. You will do it with 3 to 4 things. A, social stories. You need to prepare him a lot. Okay. You need to also, like I gave the example for the adult friend, the same things would apply. You need to be sure about what is okay and not okay. It's okay for you to call the relatives you're going to, ask them how many people are you expecting today, what is the kind of food you're serving today, and is there going to be music? Okay, 3 things. Fine. And if you know there's going to be loud music, I think keep your nephew at home. Don't torture him. So, sometimes parents take their child everywhere just out of guilt that I don't want to leave the child at home. But first realize, is the child benefiting by going there, or are you doing it for your own satisfaction? For families who are doing it for their own satisfaction, I think give them a break. They are socializing in their own way, but and go slow on it. Maybe 3 times it's okay to allow him not to come, and the 4th time tell him to come. So now when you are taking him, you can call and ask how many guests are going to be there. Okay, maybe they say 5, 8, 20. What kind of food is going to be served? Okay, and is there going to be music? Based on that, you prepare your nephew. You need to prepare him with visual tools, with stories, with showing him examples and telling him, we're going to go today, and just because a child is non-verbal does not mean he doesn't understand. A non-verbal child understands everything. Okay, so don't ever be under that impression. So you tell him, and you should, in fact, if that person is accommodative, okay, and that person has made Punjabi khana, and your nephew hates Punjabi food, but would love a pizza, you can tell the guest, can you order a pizza for my nephew? Okay. Then you tell your nephew, I called up that place. There are going to be only 5 people, which is cool. You know that one is there, that one is there, that one is there. There's Punjabi food, but because of you, they've ordered pizza, and that's amazing. And there is no loud music. So you have prepared him in advance. You've taken the necessary steps by calling the place you're going, and it's okay to do that. It's really okay to do that. Okay. And at the same time, prepare your nephew with what is going to be there, which is comforting for him. So his pizza is comforting for him. Another very, very, very important thing to remember: ask the guest, is it possible if my nephew is overwhelmed, he has a room where he can be alone? Fine. And the fifth thing you could do is see if you have an option of keeping an extra vehicle for your child, for the child to come back home. Okay. These 5 things are a sure success. If the child is feeling overwhelmed, besides all of that, and knows that I can go there and sit on the iPad with my headphones in another room, it's a huge step forward. Trust me, you're not spoiling the child. You are being inclusive. That is called inclusion. Because now suppose the guest does not have an extra room. Okay. You tell your nephew, we're taking an extra car and chauffeur. The minute you like to leave, it's okay to leave. But make sure you stick to your words. Don't do something like your nephew says, I want to go home as soon as he's finished food. And you say, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. Wait for 10 minutes, we leave together. Disaster. Total disaster. He's never going to come with you again. You need to stick by every word. I hope I'm making sense to you, because these are practical, hands-on things that have worked with thousands of families. You understand and put yourself in their shoes. If I am going to force you for a beach holiday, or if I'm forcing you to come to the beach, and I know that there is no sun umbrella there, and you don't have any vehicle to come home early, are you going to come with me to the beach? You're not going to. Why will you torture yourself? So why will your nephew torture himself? He will say, I don't want to go. So the best way is, and this is a sure short way to success. I know children who've traveled the world. They've traveled the world. They've been to parties. They've been to weddings and danced in barats. And these were children in whose houses you couldn't cook in the cooker when they were small, because the whistle would trouble them. Okay. So imagine a 3-year-old toddler who couldn't tolerate the whistle of a cooker today can dance in a barat because of 2 things. A, of course, the therapies which have helped him cope, but B, because the family has always made such small accommodative changes, which has helped the child, helped the individual get confidence. Okay. For example, I know a family that went to Paris and wanted to see Eiffel Tower, of course. Now, if your child with autism or your nephew with autism doesn't know what's Eiffel Tower, and you're going to take him to Paris to see Eiffel Tower, wrong idea. What you would ideally do then is, 1 month before the trip, make a coloring book, an activity book, a to-do book, a scrapbook about Eiffel Tower. Let him get excited to see what it is. Okay, let him get excited. Imagine you're taking him after a month. Today he's doing some activity on Eiffel Tower. He's watched a movie about it. He's done something. The day he's under Eiffel Tower, he's going to be able to relate to it, because most of them otherwise, in terms of GK wouldn't know what's Eiffel Tower, right? Okay. So I know this family that went to Eiffel Tower with their 8-year-old son who has autism. And these are exceptions that are there. These facilities are there. Okay, you should make the most of it. They went to there was a 6-hour queue, 6-hour long queue to go up to visit Eiffel Tower from the top. They went to the security help desk and they said, we have a nephew with autism. It was actually a family with Fragile X syndrome. The next minute, they were escorted with a security guard to the top of Eiffel Tower. They could skip 6 hours of waiting. And I think that's very, very fair. So when these are the kind of facilities the world offers them, we as family can definitely put this in. So I would love you to apply this, Shivam, and in fact do follow our Insta page because I'm constantly giving a lot of videos, a lot of ideas. Tell the family too, of course, on how to do things with your children on the spectrum, whether it comes to decision making. Today, you ask your nephew with autism or any individual with autism or Fragile X, what do you want to have for dinner today? You're not going to really get an answer. You've heightened his anxiety to another level. You'd rather ask them, do you think we should do pizzas or dal chawal? Just give them 2 choices. Simple, easier. Similarly, when it comes to clothes, just give them 2 options. Try to narrow their anxiety. It will really, really help them cope and do a lot more. I hope this makes sense. Yeah, Shivam, I would love to hear back from your relatives and you as to what worked. And if ever you need more help, you can reach out to us. There are more questions.
Yes, ma'am. So thank you for the detailed answer. Next question is by Ashna Thakkar. Her question is, what are the different causes of autism?
There are many, many, many known and unknown causes of autism, right from MMR vaccine to environment to television to XYZ. There's no single known cause of autism. However, Fragile X is the only known single gene cause of autism. 4 out of 100 children who have autism definitely have Fragile X syndrome. Now, there are a lot of studies that are happening and they're connecting different genes with autism, but they've not really zeroed down on which gene is definitely causing the autism. So it's a lot of gray area there. What I would say the way to hold on to it is, if you come across a family or a child with autism and there is one blood test which can rule out Fragile X, finish that off. Besides that, instead of trying to get into what caused it, just focus on what you can do to help the child, because there's no other established cause of autism which can be confirmed either with a blood test or some test. Okay, so then everything is gray zone. And how long are you going to keep fishing for that? At the end of the day, everyone has limited resources in terms of time, money, emotional, mental bandwidth, right? So when a family, like it just happened last week, that a mother of a 8-year-old child or a 5-year-old child writes to me that, hi, I need to talk to you. All these years, my son had autism, and now I've got to know it's Fragile X. So when I spoke with her, I told her that in a way, it's a huge relief to you, because now every treatment, everything you'll do for your child is through the lens of Fragile X and not through the wide lens of autism, right? So you need to always eliminate okay, this thing works for autism, but does it work for Fragile X? If it works for Fragile X, use it. If it doesn't, drop it. So I hope that helps you. But right now, I mean, the known causes of autism is only Fragile X. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. So the next question is by Ashita Nair. What is high functioning autism?
So autism is a spectrum disorder. Some children are mildly affected, some are moderately, and some are severely. So a child is mildly affected. That means intellectually he's doing well, he's able to speak, everything. He might just have now something like a Sean Murphy is a high functioning autistic child individual, right? So he just have a few autistic traits which are not really disturbing his learning, and that's why he can learn and he is high functioning. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Next question is by Asita. How long can autism spectrum disorders can go undiagnosed, and how to spot specific behaviors with STEM to a consultation?
Which, sorry, what's the second question?
Specific behaviors with STEM to a consultation. I think she means how to spot the behaviors through which we can go for a consultation in order to understand how
Yeah.
to diagnose it.
So autism can go undiagnosed for long. The large reason for that is inacceptance from the families. Now, what always happens is the mother is the first person to realize something is amiss, whether it is a stimming behavior or something delayed or anything. Then she'll go through that battle with herself that no, this can't be happening with my child. Okay, this is something that happens in movies, or it happens to my neighbor, or it happens to someone else. Okay, and this is real life. Okay, so she goes through that battle. She might waste 1 month, 2 months, 3 months till she wants to make a difference and says, okay, I've got the courage. I'm thinking something is wrong. And that is why I always tell families this. When your child is born, your pediatrician gives you a file with milestones and the approximate age that they should achieve their milestones. You need to keep a tab on it. You need to see, are they achieving their milestones on time? If there is a consistent delay in 1, 2, or 3 milestones, then bring it up to the doctor. Because when you are with your doctor for that 10 or 15 minutes, the doctor is not going to make out anything. He is only going to be able to help you with the amount of information you have given him. But if you have been a parent who has been proactive and alert and accepting, you will say, okay, doctor, my child did not babble on time. He doesn't smile or laugh when, I'm trying to play games with him or peekaboo or things like that. And then you're also seeing a delay in speech. Please run to the doctor. What are you waiting for? I mean, if you see that your child did not hold his head in time, did not roll over in time, did not sit, stand, and walk in time, please run to the doctor. I mean, there are a lot of myths on this. The biggest myth is that boys do everything late. Hello, that's like grandma's old tales. Please push it out of the window. It's not true. If there you're better safe than sorry. You're better hearing from the doctor that everything is fine rather than hearing, I wish you had come earlier. So the key is follow the milestones. Don't over analyze it. See, if they missed one milestone but caught up for the second and third in terms of speech or in terms of physical development, it's completely okay. But if there's a consistent delay, you must bring it to the notice of your doctor. That way, the doctor is going to be able to help you and you're going to help your child.
Thank you, ma'am. So we have two more questions as of now. So the next question is, hello ma'am, I wanted to know more about Savant syndrome and how common it is. I think we have a lot of good doctor fans.
I'm a huge fan of Good Doctor. I don't know anything about Saman syndrome. I'm so sorry. So it's no use that I Google and give you an answer. I'd rather ask you to Google it. Or I Googled this. What was the name of the actor? And it was so sad that he's not on social media because I would have written to him. But yeah, no, there's something else to it which I will be asking. Okay, you finish the second question and then let's get into quiz time and give this brain work a break.
Yes, ma'am. So the next question is by Sia. She's asked, do the therapies for autism and Fragile X differ?
That's an amazing question and a very intelligent one. Yes. So, when we know in Fragile X syndrome, there is a particular gene. So, Fragile X syndrome is caused by the mutation of the FMR1 gene located on the X chromosome. So, there's one particular gene on X chromosome which shuts down and stops production of a protein that's essential for brain development. When that happens, you know exactly which part of the brain is impacted. Okay. The symptoms might be similar and overlapping, but you know that when it comes to Fragile X, the children are friendly. They have an amazing sense of humor. They have an amazing memory. They love responsibility. Okay, now imagine a child with Fragile X and a child with autism. Now you know that this child with Fragile X has a sense of humor, likes socializing. Um, he'll be okay with eye contact also, but they have very high levels of anxiety because the FMR1 gene is something that helps them regulate anxiety. So, your therapy session is going to incorporate these things about the child, and you're going to have a more productive therapy session. Of course, the method of helping the child speak is probably going to be similar, but the child with autism does not want to be social and does not care about a sense of responsibility. But your child with Fragile X wants to be social, has a sense of humor, likes to be responsible. You use all those in your therapy session to get the most out of it. At the same time, you know he has high anxiety. So when he walks into your cabin, you're going to have a visual schedule of what is expected from him during the day, during that session. Help him to put it across, praise him, and you've got him eating out of your hands. And it's going to be a super successful session. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, ma'am, it
So
does. Thank you
I
very
am
much.
going to be starting with quiz time. Everyone pay attention. Please follow us on Fragile X India. I'm not saying that because we want more followers. I'm saying that because, you know, today, this is my last session for the day. Thankfully, I feel like killing Kinesha. Just 2 hours ago, I said, Kinesha, I'm going to kill you. Somehow, today I've had two live sessions and 2 webinars. And it's actually amazing because that everyone is connecting autism with Fragile X, which is what we want. Now, you imagine, put yourself in my shoes when you know autism is connected to Fragile X, and we still go through families which are not being tested for Fragile X. You feel sad. You know, I have seen families with 3 children affected with autism. I have seen families, in fact, I'll show you that video where 3 sisters and all 3 sisters have one child affected with Fragile X syndrome. That is one video I must show y'all because y'all will understand the importance of spreading awareness on Fragile X syndrome and help me. I can ask for that, like, as a reward. Okay, so here we go. You're going to answer in yes and no. The moderator just tell me next. But you don't need to give me the answer. That's your headache and your problem, not mine. I'm asking the question. All you need to say is next, and I'm going to ask the next question. Okay? Taj Mahal Towers.
Just a minute. So before we start off, just for the members, participants, they would be giving the answers via chat box. Would you want that, or do you want them to unmute?
No. Via chat box. It's easier for y'all also to monitor who answered first.
Okay, so all the participants, once ma'am asks a question, you can answer it in chat box. I will give the cue for next question, and it'll keep going on. So at the end of it, we will count whoever got the right answers the
Yeah.
most.
You can do the counting you can do the counting even later. I mean, you don't have to do
Yeah.
the counting while the webinar is on. You can do
Yes,
the counting later. Tell Kinisha, and then your gifts will be on your way tomorrow.
yes.
So we have 10 questions. Okay, stay ready. Fastest finger first, of course, and the right answer. Taj Mahal Tower supports Fragile X India and lights up every year for us.
Counting
Okay,
to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Next.
Okay. Woman Irani supports Fragile X India and Fragile X Awareness. Arey wow, everyone's following us on Insta, looks like. Chalo, good job.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Some of them are very obvious, very easy questions we have.
Just to make it clear, I think we should do this because there's a lot of just yes and no and might be hard to count. When you're answering your question, maybe if it's the answer to the third question, you can put 3 and yes. If it's answer to the fourth question, then 4 and yes.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you want me to repeat? No, it doesn't make sense repeating.
Okay, I can do it. Oh, yes.
Just a suggestion. The 3 yes might take time for participants. Before we go to the third question, I'll put 3 in the chat box, and then ma'am can ask the question,
Okay,
and everybody can
makes
put
sense.
Type out really fast, but okay, we can do that. Once Himani puts the question number, only after that you are supposed to answer. Let's go.
Okay, so Himani, put the question number and say yes, and then I can go ahead and ask the question. Let's do it like that.
Yes.
Done. Yes. Fragile X syndrome is an inherited condition.
Okay, we can go to question number 4. Himani, you can type it.
Amitabh. Okay, yeah, right. Yeah. Amitabh Bachchan supports Fragile X syndrome. Arey, I wish he did, yeah. Koi jante hai, to please give us a contact. We've not yet been able to reach Amitabh Bachchan.
Going to question 5.
Geeta Kapoor supports Fragile X awareness. Okay.
So
Next question.
question 6.
Fragile
Yes,
Society of India is a non-profit organization. Wow. Next. Okay.
Yes.
What is the color for Fragile X awareness that India follows? It's not yellow. So the answer is teal green, but green will get the prize. I'll give all the greens a yes. India Gate lit up last year for the first time for Fragile X awareness. Totally. And that was only courtesy Kinisha. I really don't know how she did it, but she did it. Yeah, I mean, Kinisha is dangerous. Whoever has communicated with her on the phone, she sounds very sweet and benign, but trust me, she's dangerous. She just come up with these ideas. Ma'am, let's light up India Gate. I'm like, it's my kakas. We light it up right now. And there, we did it. Superb. Autism and Fragile X are connected. Wonderful. Okay, last question. Have I reached the last question already?
Yes,
Yeah.
we are done with 9.
Yes.
So 10 question now. Himani can put up question 10. Yeah.
Okay, so there can be more than one child in a family with Fragile X syndrome. Yes. Yes. So I think now I will share screen and show you that one video, which I think is an important video. Hey Bhagwan, how do we do this? Just give me a minute, huh?
Do you want a screen share, ma'am? I think I'll have to make you co-host, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
Yes,
If
you
you
have to
could,
make her the co-host
there.
so that she can share the screen.
Yeah, yes. Mm. Himani, can you check it if you're able to do it? I'm unable to do it. Should have the option, but not getting it.
Yeah, I can do it, I think.
Okay, yes. Yeah, you can
Can you all
screen
see
share.
the screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And can you all hear?
I don't think we can hear it, ma'am.
Yeah, so I think for hearing it, I get off my iPods. Balachandar. I am Dhruv's mother.
Okay.
Dhruv, can you all hear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Has got Fragile X syndrome. He's 17 years old. This syndrome is detected by a blood test, which was done to him when he was 3.5. The test was recommended at NIMHANS. They recommended this test because in my biodata, they found that I have a cousin sister who had a child with Fragile X syndrome. Now, I had not been genetically counseled before I had Dhruv, though my cousin is closely related to me. Uh, After a few years, my own sister also had a child with Fragile X syndrome, which was detected some years later because it showed the signs were lesser in her case, and that she was asked to do the test only when the child was 5 years old. All three of us now have three children amongst us with Fragile X syndrome, and that at least in these three, two could have been prevented, or at least an awareness could have been there if we had done genetic counseling. The thing with Fragile X syndrome is that it's not like you can, if you have a child and people say, oh, be positive, it will not happen to you just because it's someone else in the family is affected. All these things do not work. It's science. If I am a carrier, there's a good 50% possibility of my having a child with Fragile X syndrome. So it is pure science. And just like Down syndrome now is being tested for so many years, is being tested in the fetus, and parents are aware. Same thing can be done for Fragile X syndrome. Prevention is the best form of cure. Until a cure is found for Fragile X syndrome, it's better to prevent it. Fragile X syndrome is a drain on the family. Though the children are very lovable, friendly, funny, and a joy to be around. But yes, their needs are plenty, and a lot of sacrifices have to be made to raise them. So, awareness of Fragile X syndrome, prevention of spreading in the family. If anybody is newly diagnosed, it's extremely important that they guide their other family members, their siblings and cousins, to take up that blood test. Once that is out of the way, nobody needs to worry. No prayers are required. No other visual thinking is required. It's just pure science. So all the best to everyone out there. Thank you. I'm back. Can you all see me and hear me? Okay, wait. I'll put on my headphones.
We can hear you, yes, ma'am. You're audible now.
Yeah, so these are real life stories. I mean, we have so many stories. This evening, I spoke with this gentleman. The doctor recommended Fragile X testing to him in 2019. I was really touched. I had goosebumps when I spoke with him. And I said, Tumne abhi tak test kyun nahi kiya? He had called me from some small village in Bihar. He's saying, मैडम हम गए उधर और डॉक्टर ने टेस्ट बोला और बोला इतना 1,000 रुपया लगेगा टेस्ट के लिए, लेकिन कोई इलाज नहीं है बच्चे के लिए. तो फिर हम निकले उधर से और मैं सिक्योरिटी गार्ड का काम करता हूँ, मेरा कमाई बहुत कम है, मेरे को पूरा मेरा झोला खाली करना पड़ा वो डॉक्टर का फीस देने के लिए। तो फिर हम डर गए और हमको लगा कि वैसे भी इलाज नहीं है तो टेस्ट करके क्या फायदा। So they contacted us yesterday and I spoke to them today. And of course, I said we will find a sponsor for them because he has a younger child. So the fear here is also about the younger child, which we need to look into. And he said it's really, really sad. He said, यहाँ पे लोग उसको पागल बोलते हैं, हमको उसको घर में रखना पड़ता है, फैमिली भी नहीं समझती है and everything. And I tried to give him a little positive outlook about the whole thing. And it was difficult for him. But after 15 minutes of talking to me, he's saying, मैडम आपसे बात करके थोड़ा पॉजिटिव लगता है, तो हम कभी कभी फोन करेंगे और आपका जितना वीडियो है आप प्लीज भेजो। ही नॉट ऑन इंस्टाग्राम, बट हमको देख के थोड़ा पॉजिटिव लगेगा। सो ऑफ कोर्स वी आर लाइनिंग अप द ब्लड वर्क। आई He said, how much do I have to pay? I said, you just pay 100 rupees and I will find someone to sponsor the blood test for him. But these are real life stories. And he's like, आप बॉम्बे में है, आप तो महानगरी में रहते हैं. And I tried telling him it's okay. He was actually shocked. It took him 2 minutes to say, आप शालिनी मैडम ही बोल रहे हैं क्या? आप शालिनी मैडम हैं? I'm like, हाँ. He couldn't believe that I took out the time to speak with him. And I said, this is the work I do. I'm the chosen one to do this work, and I've been doing it for 21 years, and there's no reason I would not speak with you. The same God has made you and has made me. We're just placed in different places and have different roles, but so he felt better. So, yeah, I think that's it from my side. If you all have any questions, I'm happy to take more questions. And by the way, because I cribbed so much about it, Kinisha writes a message to me, ma'am, I'm so sorry for so much pressure today, but you've totally killed it. Trying to make me feel good about it. Kinisha's a darling. She's worked with us for 6 years. And if somebody by mistake calls on the office phone and is a doctor and doesn't know what's Fragile X, he's asked for death. Because
Don't
tell
them I have worked with them more. They'll not pick up my phone.
Wait. She will make that person feel so ashamed of themselves that तुमको डॉक्टर का डिग्री किधर से मिला? Stop it. She will actually say that. What is why how can you be a doctor and not know what's Fragile X? Okay, Dr. Ria, what are you asking? I'm sorry, I didn't read.
No. Actually, we had a question here in the chat box. I was just confirming with them.
Tell me.
Yes, so Shivam had asked how much it usually costs. So I was just asking him what costs more.
Okay, the test is between 5 to 7,000 rupees. Normally, depends which laboratory they choose. So, I mean, we're non-profit. We don't do any of this. But what we do is we facilitate the whole thing. So we're going to see which laboratory is best and closest for him, and send them there. Or some of them even give the service of going home to collect the blood. But it's between 5 to 7,000 rupees. Yeah. So, and it's like just the way you saw the story of these 3 sisters. Now, can you imagine 3 sisters, all 3 are carriers, and all of them have a child? And only if there was more awareness. So, yeah, my plea to all of you is help us spread awareness. Y'all can just put up a small story saying today we attended this amazing webinar and learned about Fragile X. Also say boring webinar and got out about Fragile X. Anything you want, as long as you help us spread awareness on Fragile X. And autism, of course. Main thing is that, it's amazing how now people are making the connect between autism and Fragile X and reaching out to us to talk about it. I mean, that's really very rewarding for us.
I have a small request. Can I say?
Yes,
I
Kanisha,
don't
go
know if
ahead.
you're allowed.
Y'all are all medical students in different parts of India. I would request y'all if y'all can ask your college that we can come and do a webinar or like a small presentation or something about Fragile X. Y'all will truly help us and make a difference, because definitely your friends studying with you and y'all are upcoming doctors, y'all are going to see these children, and it's going to really make a big change, because we really want to fit Fragile X in everyone's brains so that they remember, and early diagnosis can make a huge difference for these children. So y'all can reach out to us on our Instagram. I'll reply and connect with y'all. But please talk to your college if they would love to do something with us. And I'm
So
done.
just one thing, if they talk to their colleges and we go there, it's not a webinar, it's a seminar. Point number two, it'll be a lot more detailed, informative into the science of it. And of course, we have so many more case studies. But yes, last year we did one in Chennai, one in Hyderabad. We've started a lot of in-person seminars, and it's amazing to see the response we get, because doctors understand the condition very differently when they get into the details of it, and the way we can explain it with examples. So yes, I guess that's what Kinisha wanted, right?
So thank you so much, Kanisha. And to all our participants, if you do want a live session of off-round session, you can reach out to me and I can coordinate on MSAI's behalf, like help you connect with Fragile X. Yeah.
Because
So
I think MSAI is one of the largest student
yeah,
bodies we are connected with, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so y'all can really help us leverage this. And I know nobody asked this, and but I will just take 2 more minutes with you. Um, I'm not a doctor. Have you wondered why am I being able to give you a lecture on Fragile X? And you're not even listening to me. You're are doctors, I'm not.
That is an interesting question.
Anyone has answers, guesses, suggestions? Oh, you had thought in the beginning, then you should have asked, na Baba? Okay, so let me tell you. My son is probably India's first child to be diagnosed with Fragile X syndrome 25 years ago. It's my life's journey. And 25 years ago, when I received his diagnosis, there was nothing in India. I had no family to meet, no parent support group. The doctors did not know about it. When I went for therapy, they did not know what to do with my child. I wrote to the National Fragile X Foundation in the USA. I begged them. I said, I don't know what to do. I was thrown in the sea, no lifeboat, no float, nothing. They sent me a lot of information and help. And when I visited them for the first time, they requested me to start something in India. Of course, I was very hesitant because I said, I have a platter full, but my husband insisted I do this work. And here I am today. And believe me, I think it's the biggest blessing of my life to have my son. His name is Varun in my life. And Shivam, a lot of the stories I've shared with you about your nephew are my own life stories. Eiffel Tower is my own life story. Asking relatives about the food and whether he'll get some space is my own life story. Always having a chauffeur extra handy is my own life story. These are things I have applied and used. Okay. And he is the same child. The pressure cooker is my own life story. We would use the pressure cooker only when he was at school. He's traveled the world with us. He can attend everything. We always give him an option. And when he is comfortable in an outing, he'll actually say, send the extra car home. He knows, but he's confident that when my mother has said that there is an extra car, it's there. So everything I've shared with you all and everything I share all these years is just out of experience, first-hand experience. And it's a plea from my side to please support us in spreading awareness, because it makes a difference. It makes a huge difference in lives. I'm not saying that children with fragile X should not be born. I mean, I remember once one doctor saying that, okay, you're talking about prenatal testing. Are you saying they should abort children? I said, no. But a woman should know what she's getting into. The right to make an informed decision is something we cannot take away from a woman. Ultimately, when that child is born, your entire life is ruled by that child. All your decisions, your financial decisions, your career decisions, your future, everything changes. I have no regrets. I mean, for me, he is the biggest blessing of my life. I'm positive because initially it was very difficult, of course. I had no one to even talk to. But today I look at it like this, that at a tender age of 25, God gave me my life's purpose, and Fragile X is my life's purpose. So I'm just requesting all of you all to please support us. And Shivam, if there's anything, remember everything I've said is so applicable. You just put it to use and you'll see wonders with your nephew. Lovely. Thank you. So thank you
Thank
all.
you so much. Yeah.
Thank you all.
Yes, ma'am. I think this was a very beautiful webinar because unlike all of our sessions, I think this was very one-to-one, very personal, very interactive rather than a formal session. And I think that has really touched our audience. I can see in the responses because we don't usually see our participants being so active on the chat box, to be very, very honest. So we are
Thank
really
you so
glad.
much.
Really glad for the way you've executed this webinar. And I'm sure after this webinar, all of us are going to be much more aware about Fragile X, about autism. And if we ever have a relative or anyone with autism, I think we're at least a little better than how we were before and at dealing with someone with autism. So thank you so much, ma'am. And
thank you.
Just to end this webinar on a happy, fun note, we actually counted the answers and everything, and we have come up with the 10 winners. So I thought I'll announce the name. And meanwhile, I do that, just for the participants, we have shared the post-webinar form. So in order for you to get your participation certificates from MSAI, you have to fill in that as well. Himani, if you could share it again in the chat box, it would be great. So now the big moment, I am going to announce the winners. We have top 10 winners who have answered questions very quickly. So we have Nishkarsh, second Smith, third Sia, fourth Vimala, fifth Ashita, sixth Aditi, seven Jay, eight Aman Porwal, nine Amish, and 10 Shivam. So these are our top 10 winners of the quiz organized by Shalini ma'am of Fragile X Society, and your gifts we will coordinate with Fragile X in order to get them to you. You can expect emails from me soon. But yes, congratulations everyone, and thank you for being such wonderful participants. And of course, without saying the star of the webinar today, Shalini ma'am, and of course Kinisha, she works in the organization and she's the one who connected with us in order to coordinate everything. So thank you to both of you for smoothly organizing this webinar with us. And of course, our national officers for human rights and peace, Himani and Sanjana, for coming up with the idea, for coming up with this collaboration to happen. So we're really happy, and we hope that this entire webinar turns out fruitful for all of us and for a better cause. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, ma'am.
Photo.
Bye.
Ma'am, could you stay? We could take a photo.
Oh, yes.
All
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, sure.
Everyone can switch on your cameras. We will take a photograph. Himani, will you be taking? You can give us the cue to take the photo.
Sanjana will take the photo.
Okay, I'm going to take it. 3.
Perfect. I think we are done, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. And the post-webinar form is in the chat box for those of you who need. And yes, that's it, everyone. We're done with the webinar. Thank you so much. And once again, thank you so much, Fragile X Society India, Shalini ma'am, and Kanisha for this wonderful collaboration.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Good night. Take care.